I'm Carole Leatham, and you're listening to a bonus episode of the Caretakers Journey podcast. I am your host, and I want to welcome you to day 9 of our Caretakers 31-Day Resolve Challenge. Today, our resolve is about practicing gratitude. And so grab your Post-it note and write, I resolve to reflect daily on things that I'm grateful for, even on the challenging days. I'm going to say that again. I'm resolved to reflect daily on the things that I'm grateful for, even on those challenging days. Caregiving can bring challenging days, many challenging days. It's easy for me to be grateful when things are going well, but when it's a challenging day, how can I get myself in that attitude of gratitude? Well, first, I have to acknowledge that the challenge is there, and I have to give myself permission to feel the difficulty. So many times, if I would just say, okay, it's a rough day, things are not going the way I want, it would kind of get a little bit better. But if I keep trying to suppress those emotions, like we talked about a little bit yesterday, those emotions, I'm going to experience pressure and they're going to come out in my behavior, my speech. I'm going to get impatient. It's so important to give yourself the permission to say, this is a mess. This is a challenge. The next thing is ask yourself, what small thing went right today? Even if it wasn't perfect, what was the one or two things that went right today? And either put them on a Post-it note on the fridge, write them in your journal, put them where you can see them. Because when I put my focus on being thankful for even the small win, I stop for a few minutes, quit my ruminating about all the things that didn't go as planned, and I focus on the few things that did. I calm down and I start to feel grateful for those small wins. So ask yourself, who gave me strength today? Identify those things or people who supported you, even indirectly. Find gratitude in connection, even if it's brief. So sometimes it's just having someone at the grocery store say, hey, how you doing? I was at the bank this morning. The guy asked me if I was having a good day. And I had to stop and think, is it a good day? Is it not a good day? And I said, well, it's kind of a good day. And he goes, well, let's be happy that it's kind of a good day. And I thought, how cool is that? I can be happy that it's kind of a good day and it's not a disastrous day, because I have had many disastrous days. Well, how do we find gratitude and connection, even if it's brief? Well, there you go, at the bank. A gratitude and connection that's a little deeper kind of comes in when my sister and I, who care for our mom, she's boots on the grounds in Milwaukee. I'm here in California. And so my sister and I have had to learn to laugh about some of the things our mom says and does. Right now, our mom is struggling with keeping her phone charged because she has a charging brick that sits on her table. And she thinks if she puts her phone on the cord that's in that brick, it's going to charge it. The problem is the brick has been dead for about a month and we're not charging it because she doesn't need it anymore. And we need her to plug her phone into the wall because the brick is not, it's just not something that we can really rely on right now. So we need to get rid of the brick, but we've left it there because she's very attached to it. And we keep trying to tell her, plug it in over here. The other thing is, she called me a couple of days ago and she was so excited. And she said, Carole, I just had the first shower in my entire life and it felt so good. Now, mind you, my mom is 87. She's had many showers over the years, but in her mind, she had just had the first shower of her life and it felt so good. And she was laughing and she said to me, I don't know why it took me so long to take one. And when I called my sister, I said, well, mom just had her first shower of her life. And we kind of giggled a little bit and we smiled because she gets a shower every Friday. We know for a fact she gets a shower every Friday. But in her mind, that day, it was the first one of her life. So we didn't correct her. We just kind of giggled. And I said, oh, mom, I'm so glad you've discovered how wonderful taking a shower is. Or here's one that really made me laugh. We were in the hospital with the ER with my husband a few weeks ago, and he was struggling with some abdominal pain, and we couldn't figure out what the source was. Now, he has a lot of scars because he's had a lot of surgeries, And so this young doctor came in and he looked like oh my gosh, he looks so young. And he lifts up his shirt and he starts looking at all these scars on his stomach. And he says, "What's this one?" And he points to this one kind of off to the right. And my husband says, "Oh, that's where they took my intestines out." And you can see the doctor drop the shirt and kind of take a step back. And he goes, "What?" And he goes, "That's where they took my intestines out." And he goes, "All of your intestines? They took all of your intestines?" You could tell this was not computing with the doctor. So I waited for a few minutes and then I jumped in and I said, "Well, he doesn't mean his intestines, he means his appendix. They took the appendix out." And the doctor relaxed and he goes, "Well, that answers one of my questions." And I said, "By the way, the gallbladder's gone too." And he said, "Okay, there's another one." And I said, "Well, let's just be really, really upfront here. My husband doesn't have any more removable parts." And we all started laughing. The doctor moved on, trying to figure out what the source of the pain was, where the source of the pain was coming from. But in that moment, those few giggles and smiles triggered the release of these neurotransmitters that are full of endorphins and dopamine, and they create feelings of pleasure and they reduce your stress. And so, even in a very, very difficult moment, those minutes of giggling and laughing can just help to make us feel better. So finally, ask yourself, what did this challenging day teach me? When I have a really challenging day, I always stop and ask myself this question, especially when I'm sitting with my journal, sometimes in the morning, sometimes at night as I'm reflecting. What did I learn from this day? Was there something that I need to do different? Is there a practice that I need to put in place so that this doesn't happen again? But what did I learn from this challenging day? And how can I maybe make the next time this happens not so challenging? Well, if I write that in my journal, I won't forget it. And what happens is when I open my journal, I find out how I've asked myself that question before and I've learned something and I've written it down. And gratitude can come by seeing and acknowledging your own growth and strength, how you've learned to deal with the difficult things that you're facing. So today, I want you to think about how you're going to be grateful. If it's a great day, write down 5 things you're grateful for. If it's a difficult day, then I want you to stop and ask yourself, what can I learn? Or what did I learn? Or what can I do different? And find a moment, because even in the most difficult days for me, if I sit for a few minutes and I think, I will remember one thing that I can be grateful for. So I want to thank you for joining me today. If you know a caretaker, share this show with them using the links in the show notes below. My resource, as I always share with you for these resolves, is my book, Are You Ready to Find Joy When Life Gets Messy? And if you want to know more about my personal caretaking journey and how this all started, the link to purchase my book is below. If you want an in-depth copy of our Caretakers 31-Day Resolve Challenge, join my email list in the links below, and I'll let you know how to get it. As I close out today's episode, I want to pray for you. God, every caretaker that is listening goes through good days and bad days. And the one constant in all of that is that we need to find those small wins. We need to find those moments that we can be thankful for, whether it's a smile, whether it's the touch of a hand, whether it's something that makes us laugh, whether it's something that makes us cry and then releases the stress. God, I just pray for the caretakers. I pray for the journey that they're on and the good days and the hard days that they're facing. I pray that they will find strength through finding gratitude that will help them as they care for and love for their loved one. I pray that, God, they will remember today that they are not alone and that there are 55 million people in the United States alone who are going on a caretaking journey today with them. They're not alone. And we have this community of the Caretakers Journey to connect us all. So God, in all of the 18 and 19 countries that we are sharing together right this minute with these episodes, I just pray, God, that we would feel connected to each other and connected to you. Thank you for loving us. And may today be a day where we find something to be thankful for. I ask all this in your precious Son's name. Amen. Okay, let me bless you. May the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord look with favor on you and give you peace. I will be back tomorrow for day 10. And until then, it's all about